moss. Though she can be found in every living forest across the world, I think of her as a rare gift. She is intelligent, survives the deepest floods or the strongest droughts, and stands on her own, giving and receiving. She is the epitome of resilience. So it is only natural to me, wild ones, that she appeared in my dreams as I began to envision a new kind of spell. There is a question I have as a solitary witch, and that is, how do others experience spellwork? I only know what I experience, and although I can imagine the answer to this question, I pose it to you, wild ones. Do we all feel and experience spells the same? And further, then should we all be practicing magic the same? Is magic something different to each of us? And does that mean that all ways of practicing are indeed valid? I experience spellwork as a release of energy in a short period of time, and then that energy rises, grows, and expands. And as it does, it affects my life in various ways. So I thought about how spellwork happens for me, and I decided to play with that process and see what I could experience by wearing a spell for an extended period of time. I can feel the tree moving. This has been such a cathartic experience, just like feeling so blended into the forest. I've never felt so part of the forest before. I'm also being eaten alive by mosquitoes, but it feels so natural in a very odd way. Oh. Hence, my moss bodice was born. And the answer I thought I had to this deep question, how does a witch experience spellwork? Or how does he or she feel? This evolved because I accidentally found a new way of practicing magic. I've never experienced magic like this before, and so I wanted to answer this question. I think we all experience magic differently. And I think each spell, each crafted item for a spell, is always going to be unique to the practitioner. And so therefore, I continue with this mantra. We can be whatever kind of witches we like. And we have all the creative forces within us to do so. It is simpler than we think. And as witches, we can change and evolve. And that's a good thing. Acceptance, open-mindedness, this is what will make us great witches, because then we will be willing to learn other methods we might not have been comfortable with at first. I just wanted to say here that it is wise to study new types of magic prior to practicing, and there may be closed circles out there that don't allow you into their magic. So I don't want to paint a perfect picture here, but overall, we can be free to grow and learn. In fact, as I craft these videos for you, wild ones, the kind of witch I am is ever evolving, and I just wanted to pause and thank you for that. If you haven't already, click the like and do subscribe if this video intrigues you. I would love to have you along for the journey. And back to moss. I crafted this bodice with the intention to borrow moss from the forest, care for the moss well, design her, and then after wearing her for a day or two, return her to the forest. I wanted to do this because as a green witch, I wanted to see the moss thrive as part of the spell, and I wanted to try to craft with her sustainably. I do harvest moss for fairy houses and I dry it myself, but looking at how much moss I would be taking for the bodice, I laid out this plan. I like using memory in my natural spell work to keep the mind present to the spell, so I harvested her from a place I visit weekly. Remembering the spell semi-activates it again. The power of the mind has always been my greatest ally in spell work, as well as words. In fact, I practiced magic for years without the label of witch, and this helped me greatly. to find my own magic on my own terms. I think this is why I like using living things as part of my spell work, because I find that living things continue to grow, and I do believe that this aids a spell, like a new seed full of new growth growing in my garden. The spell can grow too. I wanted to further explain why moss? Why wear the forest? I've been studying forest behavior and reading about the science behind why the forest is so powerful. And as I have been preparing to present that in a different video, I found myself saying, wow, I wish my life could be as balanced and as rhythmic as a forest. So I decided to wear moss to become part of the forest for the day, to feel what it feels like, and to semi-method act what I wanted to manifest.
Yeah, taking pictures. No, I'm good. It looks weird, so I wanted to just let you know what I was doing. Oh.
I wonder what people think of me in the woods, just romping around in a bodice with moss all over me. Anyway, I just wanted to say a quick, here I am, I'm in the woods. I had found this spot. This is a really amazing woodland. I love how much moss and fern grows here. This is not where I got the moss. Earlier in the video, 4 days ago, I've been keeping the moss alive for 4 days, working with it, manifesting with it, putting the bodice together. And today is the moment of arrival into the forest in this magical garment and just wanting to take photos and make memories of it. One of the things I am working on manifesting, this is truly a forest manifestation moment. For me, I'm a very intuitive witch. That's kind of my jam. I'm a little unique in that I take a little bit of each kind of magic and kind of mix it together. At some point, I'm gonna have to come up with a name for what I'm doing, but generally, I'm using a mixture of practical magic, forest magic, kitchen witchery, hedge witchery, green witchery, intuitive magic, and I'm using everyday things. But at the same time, I'm also doing what every other witch does, and that is utilizes the seasons, the moon. Today is actually a very special day. It is full moon was last night, and this morning was the eclipse. So today is my day to arrive in the forest, take photos, have some meditation time, wear this garment in the forest. My intention and why I chose to wear this spell was really just to sort of walk through the forest, and I need her spirit. I need her energy with me always. And I can't walk around in this bodice for days because obviously I want to bring the moss back to the forest. That's what I'm seeking. That's what I'm trying to build within myself. So having this moment with her, just walking around, living in the structure, living almost like being in the forest. I feel part of the forest, if that makes sense. And this little moment that I get, with just passing the beautiful, eclipse at the same time, and the moon is in Sagittarius. So it aligns so beautifully and perfectly for what I'm doing, what I'm manifesting, and continuing that manifestation. So I just wanted to take a brief pause and kind of explain what I'm doing a little bit. It could become a voiceover as usual, but I sometimes try and throw in these impromptu moments with me because I am a very spontaneous. That is actually what I want to call the magic that I craft, is spontaneous magic. Today is actually very special. It's not as spontaneous as I usually practice, but it's so cool to just wear my spell. And I feel like a princess, just a forest princess, just walking around, feeling the magic so deeply, it's so in me, it's on me, it's around me, I feel part of the forest. Very special. Thanks for sharing this moment with me. The spell I began to craft was for balance, resilience, rhythm, and I also wanted to call in the values that the forest holds, this respect for the forest community. The forest is connected by microbes, fungus, and hormones, all used by different plants, but mainly trees. More on this in an upcoming video. For me, I need to value my family community and how I influence that community. And while thinking about that, as I crafted this bodice, a question came up. How could I make these life changes with grace? I tend to march to the beat of my own drum, which means I'm very spontaneous by nature, and although I love this part of myself, this deeply affects my family, and sometimes I feel like my witch impulses don't really align with the needs of my partner, my children, or my extended family. While I want to be myself, I also want to fit into the human world, and the forest does this with such poise. The forest has always been my saving grace. Forest bathing is a necessity for me. After this experience wearing my moss bodice, I began to take active steps toward a more balanced life. So this spell has begun working in my life, and I want to thank my husband for being there for me. Part of spellwork is also telling others what we need, because sometimes they can help. And in my case, I got plenty of support, and I continue to. And for this, I feel lucky, because life is a journey and we need people to help us along the way. And if you're like me, wild ones, where you don't do things by the book, I want to say to you, be free and play with your magic. Sometimes when we're born different, parts of us get diluted, hidden, faded away. But I'm here to say, let your light shine. Be who you want to be. And my dears, come and find me again.